My like dream was to become a scientist or like an
Oh,
astronomer or
wow.
something like that. I usually DJ for ambient sets, and for it to just like slowly like twisting up this little thing and like having these like slight movements, it really fits to those scenarios. And I have it like, for example, banana, and voila, it
Nice.
immediately has it. And also this is a little cute smiley. We can
Nice.
change the background real
Love it.
quick. And
People have pasts, people have experiences, people have gone through traumatic experiences or dark times. And even so, and maybe even because of those things, they come out as these beautiful, happy people. Welcome to the Visual Cast. I'm your host, Alon Hammer, aka Rem. The Visual Cast is a hybrid podcast where we interview some of the most unique, interesting, high-level, and exciting artists from all over the world. Entering into Season 2, we will be starting a monthly live stream to our paid subscribers. To join in on the live stream with Q&As, polls, and some surprises, click on the join button below. Your subscription will massively support our channel and bring us further to creating a community of like-minded individuals who love, create, and immerse themselves with the visual arts and the visual world. For those unable to join financially, don't worry. The episode, like all of our episodes, will be available on Thursdays for everyone to watch. And if you want to support us, like and subscribe and share with anybody you think will enjoy the podcast. I really hope you guys enjoy this episode. Now, without any further ado, here's the Visual Cast.
The world is like a ride at an amusement park, and it's fun for a while. Some people have been on the ride for a long time, and they begin to question, is this real, or is this just a ride? And other people have remembered, and they come back to us, and they say, hey, don't worry, don't be afraid, ever, because this is just a ride.
Alrighty, welcome to the Visual Cast. Joined today by a very special guest, super awesome and inspiring up-and-coming young artist who really is making some really cool and interesting pieces of art and interactive installations. And I'm super happy to be talking to her today and getting to know her a little bit more. Welcome to the podcast, Reka, Polena. Polena.
hello. Yes. Thank you for having me.
Of course, it's my
Very
pleasure.
nice to be here.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I'm happy to have you here. And, we're going to jump right into it. I want to take a look a little bit at some of your work while we kind of introduce you to the audience. You've been active for not such a long time, but, it's really nice to see and really awesome to see some of your works and just kind of see the direction that you're going in as an artist. And for me, it's always exciting and quite an honor to have young and up and coming artists. It's like just a clean and fresh perspective that that just gives me a little bit of hope and excitement for what's coming, and for the people that are kind of interested in the same field that I am. It's always a really good feeling. And you have an awesome Patreon that I've been looking at. This by the way, this tutorial is awesome.
Yes.
It's a super cool one. Definitely check it out. And yeah, I just kind of wanted to start off with just asking you, like, as an artist who's kind of mostly focused on interactive, what do you find the strengths and powers in interactive art, and how does it kind of talk to you and speak to you?
Well, interactive art is like really empowering as an artist, because eventually like every piece of art, like every art piece is sort of a conversation. Like, it's not just from one side, from the artist side. It's always an individual sort of like it is different from each person's perspective. Therefore, when we add interactivity to it, we sort of can like create together with the artists.
Mm.
And it's I think
Mm, I like that.
an amazing sort of like experience to be
Mm.
the part of it and like create together with the artists. And I love this perspective of it, to give this really like an experience of it. Like when we take part out of these things, it's always a memorable thing.
Mm.
And I like really enjoy it. So
Mm.
far I mainly focused on like webcam based
Mm-hmm.
installations, but I plan on doing more um, like Kinect type of stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and also like audio visual work, so like performances. And
Mm.
it's it's really exciting. I just have been called to the Chromosphere, which is like a nomadic type of dome
Cool.
um, experience that uh, asks some artists to be there.
That's amazing.
And I got invited there, and it was just a few weeks ago, and it was a really
Congratulations.
amazing. Thank you. It was a really amazing
That's
experience, and as always, when artists have opportunity to really create in these new places and like the explore the immersive spaces that offer these types of like it's a different canvas and a different
totally.
environment to work with. And it opens some um, like new like perspectives, like artistically too, because that way on the place when you are trying to make things work and like see your work on the dome, for
Mm.
example,
Mm-hmm.
it's a completely different deal. And it's just like also like seeing how the canvas itself works is just helping me to even more perfect the experiences. And it's always a really good thing.
Hell yeah. Such a nice perspective that you have on that. And yeah, I totally agree with you. The interactive and immersion, when it's done, it's like a conversation, like you said, like a really you're like allowing your expression to be heard and received, and then you're enabling somebody else to have an expression as well. Whether it's conscious or unconscious, they're still interacting. Their interaction is creating a new expression, right? So it's like you're kind of allowing people to be creatively expressive whether they know it or not, and that's very, very powerful. um, and like you're saying with the domes and the immersive experiences, yeah, it's really cool to kind of work on it, and you can pre-visit and you can see what it's going to look like in your mind's eye, and you can see what it's going to look like on a digital screen, and then you go there and it's like, oh, okay, this is a totally different thing.
Yes,
It's such a great
yes,
feeling.
yes.
What is this work, by the way? I love this. These 3D models are so cool.
Thank you. It was my diploma work, actually. It was
Oh,
an
interesting.
audiovisual performance, which didn't go really well
Oh,
in
okay.
the like,
In the end.
because that was my first like try to do such thing. And like
Mm-hmm,
I
mm-hmm.
haven't done any music before and any
Ah.
like live performance type of deal. So
Mm.
I bought my first MIDI controllers for this and like tried my first mixing stuff inside TouchDesigner. I realized that like having 20 movie file ins isn't really working, so we need to
Oh
like
no.
optimize stuff. And it was like always I'm learning the best when I'm doing these things, and it's
For sure.
always a journey, and I
Yeah.
really enjoy it. Like ever since I heard of TouchDesigner when I was like, it was a really funny story, actually. I
Please
have
tell us.
been uh, invited to a like a rave party sort
Uh-huh.
of deal, and there I saw an installation, and I really liked it. It was like audio reactive because there were like some noise artists making music at the space, but it was like a separate installation next to it, and I unfortunately don't remember whose
Oh no.
artwork it was because it wasn't really noted in there. But
Right.
I needed to check out what is it made with. So I checked, and like that way I met Touch Designer the
That's
first time.
awesome.
I noted down the name, and the next day I like started to check out William's tutorials, and ever since that started a 1 year um, like journey of me almost every day opening Touch Designer and learning something new with it. And it's like I religiously went back to that software, and it's just amazing where it took me. And it all depended on the fact that I went to that um, event, and it wasn't I wasn't really like I was invited like the last time, like I was like it was out of
Last minute.
like last minute, yes. Last minute, and it was like really really like
Wow.
weird, like that I even got to this thing.
I
So it's
love that.
it's it's really
That's so awesome.
amazing.
You got introduced to Touch Designer and Interactive at the same time, and we're kind of, that's, I love that, that, like, that way that you get, that people get introduced to things is always such a fascinating thing. How people discover and how people like relate to things. And it's like Touch Designer is one of those things that you look at and you're like, what the fuck is this? Like, I gotta know what this is.
Yes,
This is some weird,
yes.
crazy stuff. Like, you look at the output and then you look at the nodes and you're like, wait, whoa, what's going on here? Um,
Yeah.
so it's really awesome.
So
And yeah, please.
yeah, so I was like first when I I studied graphic design, and I was specialized in interactive graphic design, which meant sort of like UI UX design and like applications type of deals and stuff. But I had a really good teachers in there who like showed me like their like that there are like projection mapping exists and stuff like that, because I haven't met any I heard of it because it's not really that common in these countries. And it was like a good, like there I started to explore some sort of generative stuff, but that was
Mm.
VCV rack too at the time.
Wow. That's cool.
And so for like I really enjoyed the generative type of stuff. And I thought that like I was wishing that I could have that, not just like sound wise, but like visually. And I
Mm.
haven't really had the time to explore such things at that time. But I was learning Blender and Maya, and
Nice.
they that way, like in Blender, we can like find the geometry
The
nodes
geonodes.
and
Yeah.
yeah, the geonodes. And I really liked those parts. So those were
Mm.
sort of um, close
An
to Touch
introduction
Designer.
to like visual
Yes,
scripting and node-based
yes,
workflows.
yes. And but like Blender and like Maya, we need to render stuff. So also
Yes.
like having real-time rendering, it
Oh
was
yeah,
blowing my mind. Like,
for
how is
sure,
this even possible? Like,
for sure.
I heard of Unreal Engine and stuff like that, but I know that okay, it's real, it can do stuff real time, but you cannot really program it real time because it's a
Mm,
bit more d- deeper. Like it needs a deeper dive every time, and it isn't as easy as Touch Designer. So I eventually plan on doing some things with Unreal Engine. Just for now, I just like my clients and everything that happens is needs the flexibility of touch designers.
For
So I
sure.
cannot
For sure.
really implement that yet in my works.
Yeah,
too
they're very
much.
different workflows, but they they're married really well. I use
Yes.
TouchDesigner and Unreal, for all of my projects. This podcast included, and I put them together because they complement each other really well. Unreal's rendering capability, its game logic is so advanced. And game logic is useful not only for games. It could be useful for interactive experiences. It could be useful for VJing. It can be useful for lots of different things. And then obviously the rendering capability, like I said, is light years beyond anything that's available for real time. But you can't take the amazing environment that touch designers created, like you said, like the ability to code fast, the ability to iterate, and the explorative nature of it, right? Like you can just go into touch designer, you have a project, you can change 5 small little things and it's something completely different, or add some little things and it's something completely different. And then the integration that touch designer has with coding and scripting is mind-blowing.
Yes.
I love, first of all, I love that you're laying all of this on us at once. This is great. I do want to like steer a little bit because I want to like go a little bit into Reka and understand you a little bit more from your past. So do you want to just give us a little bit of an introduction? You grew up in Hungary, or sorry, you grew up in Slovakia, but you live in Hungary.
Yes.
And you went to
Yes.
school in Budapest for media design, like you said. Give us a little bit of insight into what Slovakia is like, the difference in Budapest, and tell us a little bit about it.
So first of all, thank you for the question. So I'm a Hungarian born and raised in Slovakia.
Gotcha.
And so I have a Slovak citizenship, but I'm Hungarian. So, and I don't really know Slovak that much even. So that is sort of why I went towards Hungary more. Because like it wasn't really inviting for me to go to Bratislava or Banská Bystrica, where these great schools are. I sort of I don't regret anything because eventually I'm here where I am. But I would really love to have some like people who actually are from here and like more the people around who are also doing some new media design and it like actually I know one but okay, so first of all where I went to a Hungarian like school and preschool and everything, and then the elementary school was like also Hungarian, and then I eventually went to this. Oh my God, what's the word? Okay,
secondary school.
Secondary school, yes.
Gotcha.
Secondary school was like I went to first like my like dream was to become a scientist or like an astronomer or something like that.
Really? That's so cool.
I was really excited to do such things, or like study physics or stuff like that, or even biology and chemistry, every thing like this really excited. Yeah, so science really excited me, but like I was really bad at math at the time, and and eventually I had to that led me also like some personal issues, like my boyfriend doing stuff and everything at the time led me to I needed to change schools, and I went to a secondary school which had like a specialization in graphic design, and eventually there I met some educators who like really helped me a lot and like introduced me first to After Effects and stuff like that. And I never touched like even like like I was like 16 years old or something. So I haven't touched like digital media before that. I was more into drawing and like crafting and stuff like that. Also like playing guitar. So like I was into music more.
Cool.
Then I realized that like I can do this. Like I could go to like university, and I went to like a graphic design, like get a graphic design BA. And then after the graphic design BA, where I had a specialization in this interactive media and like introduction to some 3D stuff, I think 3D stuff needs to be like treated a bit like sort of, I don't know, drugs or something, because it's really addictive. And
it's so totally.
Yes, and once anyone is like introduced to like it in like whom I know, they sort of start doing stuff rather in 3D than like illustrations in 2D. So
totally.
And then I couldn't really imagine doing anything else. So therefore I went to the media design masters, and eventually graduated last year.
Last year? Nice.
Last year. Thank
Feels
you.
like last week, I'm sure.
yes, absolutely. So it was like a really exciting thing, and I learned a lot, but I haven't touched like touch design. I met TouchDesigner next to the university, and we unfortunately did not have the this in the like the curriculum. So I like was learning like 3ds Max and Maya. And then I like transitioned to like Blender because like I couldn't afford the the Maya and the 3ds Max together. So I think like TouchDesigner is sort of the mix of 3ds Max and Blender's. Like in 3ds Max, we have the tie flow and the also the procedural sort of modeling is sort of similar logic what we can do inside TouchDesigner. And these two, I think, are like
connected somehow.
Like help me to understand TouchDesigner more easily than it might have happened to others. So I'm really happy that I got introduced to so many things so early, and I really had I'm really lucky to be here, and I'm really honored too. So thank you.
Wow, what an awesome story. I love like kind of throughout your life how you like slowly get introduced to little things and it like piques your interest, and it's kind of beautiful, you know, how we develop as humans and how we find our paths, you know, find our passions, find the thing that really ticks us and makes us excited. You know, you said science was kind of your first introduction or first like thing that you were interested in, and then you found yourself being a new media artist, which is scientific in some way, right? Especially when you get into math and coding and things like this. It's so lovely how these things kind of like all kind of weld into one. And I also had a very similar experience to you, where I also really was fascinated by the sciences and kind of like that exploratory aspect of reality, physics and biology, and just was never smart enough to like pursue it. Or maybe like not a good enough student or you know, anything. And finding like creative aspects of myself really allowed me to find what I'm passionate about, right? And such an important thing for people to be able to find that. Can you give us a little bit, just a little bit of like the shift between, I just like to hear people's perspectives, especially when it comes to European countries, because they're so vastly different, but like the difference maybe like just in an anecdotal aspect of like where you are right now. You mentioned to me before we started that there's a beautiful river and pond where you are, or lake, I should say.
Yeah.
The kind of difference between living in Slovakia and Hungary, and maybe just like a little bit of an insight into that for people that don't know about these countries.
Well, it is sort of really similar in
Okay.
there and in
Interesting.
here. The difference is that in Hungary, I got to live in Budapest, which
City.
is like a huge city, and
Right.
like it has lots of inputs, like events happening, and like people who I know live there. So there is like life in there. And if I come home here I barely know anyone, because I
Interesting.
like sort of like just lived in my room and like was focusing on my stuff, and had hobbies like sewing some like dresses, and like going to
Huh.
nature. And like nature is like basically if I come home, here is also input, but this is more like from myself, like an internal like sort of deal. And also like if I go to some big walks in here, like we have a really nice nature around, and it really inspires me, and it is like sort of my muse to always go to the nature, see my dog swim in the little pond we have here, and it is like really nice. And it's also life, but in the more natural manner, I would say, like a bit more idealized, or I don't know, like it's
For sure. I
yeah.
mean,
So it's
nature in
different.
general is kind of like that clean reflection of yourself and what's going on inside of you. And like you said, it's such a muse. Like being in a quiet, small place. It's funny because like the dichotomy of the two, like the city can also be very inspiring. There's so many people and interests and art and expression, and it could also be like a muse. And then you have the opposite of like quiet, tranquility, beautiful nature. You're with yourself. Your introversion, and that can also. It's like such the two ends of the spectrum. You're
Yes,
lucky.
yes,
You're
and
lucky
it's
that you get to have those. It's awesome.
yes, really, definitely. I'm a really lucky person, I can say. So it's really amazing. And yeah, it's like while getting to switch in between these two inputs, I think it also helps sort of my creative workflow, because it always like pushes me. Like sometimes like I really don't have time to do stuff, but I really want to do stuff, and
Right.
I that sort of rushing helps it a lot. Like I mean, the deadlines are the
Deadlines.
biggest
Yeah.
muse, they also say.
For sure.
But also when I just like, get to have some time, I also find myself just creating, but it's a bit different, more exploratory, more experimental type of deal. I always think about what could I mix up, whether I should scan some stuff and make some animations like that, or like stop motioning, or what can we do with the tools I have at my hand.
Disposal.
Because like disposable, because if I'm like traveling, I usually don't have much with me. Like currently my big PC and everything is right here, but it can change. Like I don't really know where I will be next month and stuff like that.
Nice.
So
Lucky.
it's yeah,
exciting.
yeah. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, shifting from your background and where you grew up and stuff like this, you mentioned that you played guitar and that you were kind of like had this introduction into After Effects and kind of this like visual kind of thing. Was there any, like, obviously you're creatively inclined, right? You obviously have some sort of like something inside of you that wants to express through creativity, which is beautiful. Was there any like time or moment where you got introduced to like visuals proper, like I mean, it could be anything really, but was there anything specific that you kind of saw or experienced that was like, oh, this is really interesting. I want to go deeper into this. You know, why did you choose to study media in school? Just like outside of the fact that it's something that you were interested in, was there anything specific or any like strong influence that you can remember or recall?
I remember seeing Kati Katona's one of the first video mappings of her on the Zsolnay Light Festival, which is in Pécs in Hungary. I saw like a recording of it, and it like made me like, until that moment it was something that, okay, these big like these big projects can only work like I as a like a woman, and like I don't really have the like the power to do such big beautiful projects, and like I didn't imagine that I could like reach this stuff, and seeing her really succeeding in this, I really got like inspired and motivated, and it's amazing. I'd like definitely check out her stuff. It's amazing, and I got to work next to her basically in the chromosphere too. So it's really amazing that like why like I grew up to be next to my masters basically. It's like it's an insanely beautiful thing to live, and I am really gift like it's a like honor, and I'm really excited and I'm happy basically. So I am really thanking everybody too who helped me, because like most of the time I got called by these really huge people who are in the industry, and they like helped me to go there and like try out stuff. Like my first VJing was also like like helping out my teacher, who like was sort of having a deadline, and then they said that then I should like, it was like a projection mapping sort of deal. It, like parts of the projection mapping were like little illustrations which had to be like moved a bit. So in After Effects, I had to like puppet pin them and like move them a bit. Like yes, it was like a really big work, and like for me at the time, because my skill level wasn't there at all. I don't think I still am too good in After Effects, but then I like got to go and check out the finished product when like they projected it, and like I saw being like Resolum being used there, and then I got encouraged to try out and like mix those little illustrations in there, and like that was basically my first VJ gig, so called, because it was like there were some like ambient DJs in there, like not really ambient, rather like some ethno techno type of deal. I don't know, like it was like a really nice music, and yeah, and I just like mixed in some illustrations, like whether there should be a Volk cycle of a magician or like a butterfly or a lizard there, and
I love it.
It was
awesome.
It was really cute. And that way I like really got into this, that I maybe want to VJ and like try out like live visuals and stuff like this more, and like projection mapping and everything, and how good it is when I can like do it like real time on the place, and like it's all everything is just a history from there. So
amazing,
it's really great.
Such a great introduction into visuals, and kind of like you're so lucky that this is definitely a theme of yours, that you're lucky, but you know how luck is, right? Luck is not something that you have, it's something that is created, right?
Yes, it's a gift.
It's a gift. You curate it, being by
Yeah.
being who you are and taking the opportunities. But regardless, yeah, it's great that you had all those mentors. That's always such an important aspect of being a creative, is the people that you are, and there's no like one way, right? It's very subjective. There's no like right or wrong way, but there is an importance to having people that you want to emulate or want to follow, or want to be inspired by, whether it's direct inspiration and your mentorship, or whether it's, nowadays in the digital world, you can get a Patreon and you can have this conversation. Thank the podcast as well. People can get
Yes.
people can get interviewed and introduced to other people, or whether it's literally just watching lots of visuals and going to lots of shows and being immersed in music videos or whatever it is. It's so important to that creative, like finding your creative language, and personally for me, like mentorships and being able to be in like a fly on the wall in somebody's creative workflows is so powerful. It's how I learned almost all my softwares. I think the only one that I didn't learn that way was Unreal, but everything else was like just by watching people work on their projects and in their environments, and like sometimes not sometimes, I'm very annoying, I ask a lot of questions, but like asking a lot of questions and bothering them about different things, it really enriches your experience. And for anybody that can get that, that's really powerful, and a really good way to learn. So super cool how you discovered it. I love that whole kind of journey. You gave us like an introduction of how you discovered TouchDesigner by chance in that rave, which is amazing and such a great
Yes.
introduction to TouchDesigner. Do you have can you put your finger on like the like you kind of mentioned it, but I just want to go a little bit more into depth into it. But TouchDesigner's real time, TouchDesigner's procedural, it's generative. Do you remember, like, as you were starting to get into it, as you were getting addicted to it, that first year, was there like moments of like, oh my God, or moments of like, where you were just kind of like infused into the whole experience? Tell us a little bit about that, give us a little bit of insight into that.
Well, I definitely really love the way since I discovered instancing inside TouchDesigner, I couldn't stop doing that stuff, and it's I think the most powerful and most like it has the biggest potential there to do, and like via trying out and being able to test pops, and it is
Yeah.
going to be really great and really powerful, like even more powerful tool for everybody, because like real time being
It's like
able to like
instancing on steroids,
instancing.
huh?
Yes, and like millions of points, like no problem. It just is there doing its stuff. You don't have to like worry about it even, because it's all going on the GPU, and I really love it. And hopefully hopefully it will be available soon, like for everybody, so we can like show up, like show more in depth, and like right now I'm not really sure that I can show my networks what I made in pops versions, so like yeah, hopefully hopefully it happens soon, and everything will be like we can start to create some tutorials for it, and I have some ideas to make some tools with it and everything, so uh, really exciting. And what really helped me also, I would say like a mentor slash like partner sort of in this TouchDesigner learning journey was like meeting with Ruben Papaci, who is like an Italian touch designer friend of mine, and together we went through some stuff. I was already like further away on my journey than he when we met. Like we didn't met in person yet, but like online, and since then we are almost speaking every day via Discord and like discussing that, like also helping each other develop some networks. If we have some problems, we immediately go to each other because we know like who knows what. So it's like sort of like a complementary person of mine, which is like really nice. And like when we like, it was around last year's September or August when we started speaking, and like he told me some stuff I didn't really realize beforehand, that like also via his practice, that we really should like, I sort of experimented with every single tutorial I like walked through, and like I watched the tutorial and built it next, like parallel to it, but then I really got excited and like changed everything around it, and that way I created some new stuff. And like I like realized that it's really great to also like stop watching tutorials and just go dive deep into it. And yes,
so true.
and
so true.
And like go and like find some like concepts and try to implement it inside TouchDesigner from other software and stuff like this. And this way we got some really excited. We got excited for some like also like point cloud stuff, and discovered tons of things. And he has a great, like he developed a tool for this, and it's I think
it's a public
available.
Tool?
It's a point cloud type of like a PLY exporter type of deal, but we will also make another like bigger tool for this. And he also is developing a God node, which is like a huge deal. And like it's really exciting, but I really cannot say too much about it, because if I yap too much about it, he will be totally mad that I released the idea, and I don't want to do that. So yes, it was like meeting him definitely was the most like giving thing to me whilst I was like learning. So it was sort of starting to like go into education. Like I didn't really like do some lessons with him, like or to him, but it was like we are like two educators meeting, like two really beginner educators meeting, and it's a
meeting of the nerds.
Yes. And yeah, so that's something. And also like billions, and oh my god, like the like polyhops tutorial on, obviously that's the Simon is the god of instancing tutorials.
For sure.
And supermarket salad, obviously he's amazing, and like I see his impact everywhere I go and see some installations. And so supermarket salad,
I don't think I know
Simon
supermarket
David.
salad.
Yes, Simon David Bryden. He's really good too. And yeah, and also oh my god, like obviously like Dan's tutorial on chops.
Shout
like,
out to Dan,
oh my
for
god,
sure. Dan Molnar, Function Story.
Best. and also his toolkit. Oh my god,
Yeah.
it literally
Wow, how
changed my
amazing is
life.
that, huh? It's like
Yes,
makes using Touch Designer so much easier,
yes,
you know,
easier and
so
like
much
just
more fluid.
seamless. Yes,
Oh, I do know
it's
Supermarket
amazing how
Salad.
he.
I didn't know that was the name, but I've seen these tutorials for sure. Super
Yeah,
awesome.
he's doing some awesome stuff, and it's really exciting to have these. Also, uh, PPP Panic tutorials were
Yeah,
really exciting.
good ones.
They do some like more into like tops type of effects, which were really exciting, and like a little thing to dive into. Like if I wanted to have some fun tutorial, then I went to her like theirs, and it was like really nice, and I learned a lot from them too. So
Nice.
it's really nice. And I have a list of people. Basically, I wanted to list them all. So it's like,
Hey, there's too
uh,
many to list. Trust me, I've tried it
yeah,
before.
yeah.
But
It's really a
we're
lot.
very
So
we're in a crazy time of you know, there's just so many amazing people out there that are creating
yes,
tutorials. There's new ones every day. You know, there's new ones every
yes,
day, and people are really. And you know what I love about it is that whenever somebody new comes around and posts a bunch of tutorials or you know starts a Patreon, it's unique. You know, even if some similarities exist between the techniques or some similarities exist between the workflows, the uniqueness of each one is so powerful. And you know, just you creating your portal tutorial, and you have a few more on Patreon. Again, it's like this kind of like unique aspect that people don't think about or haven't you know viewed. Um, it's just so beautiful, you know. It's so nice that that exists and that this community of Touch Designer is so focused and oriented around sharing information, imparting wisdom. You know, whether it's free, whether it costs money, it doesn't really matter. You know, like there is a reciprocal experience that each person can decide for themselves. But the fact that people are willing to put it out there and share it is so powerful and so special that I you know I think we're really lucky when it comes to that. Amazing, Reka. I really love your
well,
willingness to share and get to understand kind of where you're focused on. And before we get into your set, I kind of wanted to talk about one more thing about your, you know, and this is please take this as a compliment. I don't mean this in any negative way at all. But you know, because you're so fresh and new in this world and in this environment of not only just touch designer but just in creative coding and installations, what is the you know as a person who's old and bored and whatever you know blah 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 all the negative things that come with time, um, you know, I want to get your perspective. I want to get your fresh kind of eyes and your excitement. You're so excited, which is so awesome, and it's infectious. By the way, I feel excited now, so thank you. What is you know what is the experience of having so many avenues and options for creation and discovery? What is that feeling like? What is the you know? Can you give us a little bit of insight into that? Is there anything that you kind of give yourself to give yourself focus? Just in general, like what is it like to have so many options and avenues?
it's always sort of difficult, but it is also at the same time really easy, because you just sort of need to embrace your child's like curiosity and
I love it.
excitement. And I'm
I
really
love it.
trying to embrace that in myself, since I like had my first installation on the Serum Light Festival in Chamorin. uh, it was like really exciting how kids went there and like started to play with it, and like it was a completely different approach from them as any adults were like more scary and like distant from it, but kids were just going there, seeing that it works, we can play with it, and it was like I think it's a really best perspective to implement everywhere in our lives, to just try out stuff and like be this like brave to be a beginner, and brave to like share your knowledge and like share yourself too, because what I was lacking for a really long time, because of traumas and stuff like that, I didn't really wanted to show my face online, and like
Oh,
I didn't
interesting.
really wanted to show myself as a like a woman, or like a like a person. I just wanted to people to judge me from my works, and I think it like sort of helped me a lot since I started to like sort of put myself out there too, that there is a human being
Behind everything.
behind those things. Yes. And also what you said before, that everybody's like Patreon and everybody's approach is like sort of different, like if they even like maybe we steal from each other some ideas, or like I wouldn't call it stealing, it's like a
No,
steal like an artist type of
yeah,
deal. Yeah,
inspiration.
inspirations. It's just it like reminded me of the times when we were like learning how to draw, like do these anatomical drawings and stuff like that. And uh, my teacher at the time said that like everybody sort of draws themselves into the portraits of those
Ooh,
people.
wow. That's deep.
And yes, and I think I can see this even in digital media, that everybody's like essence of their soul is in this stuff. So it's
wow.
always good to go into and see people's what people do, because even if they do the same techniques, they will do it somehow differently, unless they are copy pasting it. But like most of the time we will see something unique in those two, because like mistakes also hold some like what's that called,
Value or
not just value, but character, like adds
character.
like
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
it's good to have
Uniqueness.
mistakes. And I think we need to embrace more some mistakes, and try not to be too like perfectionist and like perfectionist, I don't know how to say it.
Yeah,
Like,
perfectionist.
so perfectionist. And it's really exciting to see others share and do same things. And also like sometimes seeing the impact of our works in others, and it's also really great that it's some like
Amazing.
inspiring others is really a great feeling. And
It's the best.
yeah
It's the best, and it's
Yeah.
it's multi-layered, right? Like you said, you can have a kid play with your interaction and installation. That is an inspiration. That child might now want to pursue this, right? Or
yes
it's like that's like maybe like a bigger thing, but it could be so small of just like, okay, you create an artwork, people are inspired, and it goes obviously to further of like, okay, I have a Patreon, I'm teaching people, I'm doing a tutorial, and I'm inspiring people. There's nothing better than that. As a elder, I could tell you that there's nothing better than inspiring people. And I think that's a common theme of artists in general. I think, obviously there's going to be people that are interested in the fame and the ego, and that's no judgment. Everybody has their own thing. But I think in a general sense, especially artists like us who are very behind the scenes and we're not so in the forefront, VJs in general, right? Like very, very few VJs are famous. Very few VJs even people know what they look like, and mostly it's about inspiring others. Mostly it's about, I'm putting myself out there, I'm expressing myself, and that will create some sort of movement inside of somebody else. And what is that movement if not inspiration, right? Like the actual function of the movement is inspiration. It could be inspired to be more loving, inspired to be more happy, inspired to be more creative, whatever it is. but that is the function, right? So I think that you really you figured it out, and just continue with that, and you're going to do great.
Thank you.
And yeah, really awesome thoughts and ideas, and I'm super excited to see what you have ready for us. I think this is a great time to jump into your set, and yeah, let's take a look what we have. All right, so we're going to jump into Reka's computer right now, and we're going to look at her project from the Chromosphere, and we're just going to take a look at a little bit of what she did here, because it's super awesome, the different scenes that she has here. And yeah, I mean, dome projections are awesome, and I'm a big fan of them. It's always cool to see generative and real-time dome projections. I mean, it's always super fascinating. Yeah, tell us a little bit about the Chromosphere before we jump into your project.
Yes, it was a really amazing experience. I had to not got to create an audiovisual performance in there, and it was a really exciting show. I named it not what was it?
Chloroplastic surgery.
Chloroplastic surgery, yes, chloroplastic surgery, which sort of wanted to make because this was like a start of in the start of spring, and I wanted to create a piece which would introduce us to the spring's warmth and the greenery, and from
Beautiful.
the really frosty wintry times to some better nice blooming perspectives. And it was really great opportunity to even try out my musical skills and try to create some audio and Bitwig. I use Bitwig Studio and TouchDesigner together.
Nice.
And it made this possible. Right
Awesome.
now, I won't show the final product, the final project I had in there, because for that I would need to have my laptop, my other laptop, and some MIDI controllers so that it doesn't really break anywhere, and
For
doesn't
sure.
show. So I just mainly wanted to show the effects I made this, I achieved
Totally.
this with. And
All right, let's jump right in.
let's jump. Yeah. Okay, so I will share my screen. And here we go.
Here we go.
So this was the... Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, press hide on that.
Oh, yeah. Thank
perfect.
you. Perfect. Thank you. So this is what it looks like when you are half done with a dome audiovisual show. First of all, I was developing in here these effects, and what I figured out from my 2 years of TouchDesigner is that it's the best if you have a really cool effect, you better start to develop some custom components of it and save them that way. And actually, it makes even the whole file more smooth and more easy to map out your parameters that you want to use in your in your performance. If I had a MIDI a MIDI device in, and I wanted to use some controls in there, then I could control these things, and that way if I start my timeline, actually we could see that we could VJ with this real fast.
Wow.
I made this so parts of this were wired into audio reactivity, and I also wired them so that we have some control over it, obviously,
Mm-hmm.
because like my MIDI controller is a little Korg MIDI nano
Yes.
pad
Nano
and
pad.
the nano
Yep.
control, and the both, like I like to use the nano pad too for audio type stuff, because it is really amazing with like like this ambient, like to control pads, because obviously it's in its name, but like it has this little XY coordinate part of it, and
Mm-hmm.
with that we can like really easily create really awesome sounds, and
Mm-hmm.
it's really great with Bitwig. But like in TouchDesigner, I like to use the nano control too, and that has several uh, pots and these the sliders,
Mm-hmm.
and like tons of these little numbers and numbers buttons, and we can like via like combining like pushing buttons and sliding something, we can get many option, like many like much control out of it, and like just by just having like 10-ish, like 10 or 8, I think it has 8 sliders actually, so having 8 sliders and 8 pots above them, it's, I think, actually in the device mapper, like the older version of it is in
Mm-hmm.
here. So it sort of looks like this. It's the darker version, like the newer
Mm.
one, and it has like, it's, I think, yeah, it's a really handy little thing. I only bad part of it is that it doesn't have much like these lights, so I really cannot see anything if I don't have some ambient light in there. So that way I used to map that up,
Mm-hmm.
and like every VJ set or audiovisual set I have, I use that one, because it's like a really like a smaller one, so I can like also just like grab it and go with it, and it isn't taking up much space in my bags and anything. And yeah, so in the TouchDesigner, I create these little custom components, and like inside this one,
Mm-hmm.
we have I figured out to like to make any like audiovisual show or like even VJing set inside TouchDesigner, it's the best if we can control some feedback loops and like create some
Mm-hmm.
feedback effects, and hopefully combine like 2D, like 3D shapes and feedback effects with it, because that gives the most flexibility, because we could like rotate and like like transform or little 3D scene in the render, or just like rotating camera or something around the shapes like I did in here.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and
Ooh, I love that. That's the
yeah,
feedback.
this actually this is like I really tweaked one tutorial from
Mm-hmm.
supermarket salad. It was
Nice.
called, I think, lights, lines, wireframes. I also named it that way, so we have it
Awesome.
there. But I tweaked it so much, so it's really like almost unrecognizable. Thankfully, so like I really love the twists up. It's because in these scenarios, it is like I usually VJ for ambient sets, and for it to just like slowly like twisting up this little thing and like having these like slight movements, it really fits to those scenarios, and
Mm-hmm.
I think like this combination works well if we can have some 3D shapes or instancing or something, and then combine some feedback effects like
Mm-hmm.
I did here. And as you can see, like
Nice.
I highly recommend to like also inside this one, I have like two little feedback loops. So these are like nicely like this is sort of a like a remake from William, actually, the Electronaut. This is he created some tutorial on which he had these types of lines, like more lines type of this type of pattern, and like I sort of liked it. Also, one of my like students wanted to like because I teach, like students wanted to achieve some similar effect, so I eventually started to develop that same effect for her, and then I went nuts and like created this other stuff from it. And like like having slopes and blurs and displacements inside the feedback loops is the most magical thing ever. And this what it really gave me the idea that subtract some stuff inside feedback loops, it can do really exciting things there. So I really wanted to give that
Nice.
away. It's a good little tip there. And inside here, what did I do? Yeah, it's awful right here because this wasn't the final version. But what this feedback loop does is basically adding this frosty effect to it, which isn't really shown right now, but in the like the images before we could see it. And yeah, then like controlling levels of like the channels inside RGB, like RGB channels, like it is really powerful. And
Yeah.
like even in instancing, we like earlier this day we were talking with Ruben about this thing. Like the lookup top has so much
Oh yeah. Powerful.
like powerful. It's a really powerful tool inside instancing things and everything. So yeah, it's like this is just an edge in here, like blurred. Then I tried to do some math with it, but then I bypassed it. So I think later I also like just removed this one, like this limit. Yeah, so like it's like that slope and a displace. Like it's just
Nice.
same things over and over, just different parameters create different magic in it. And
Totally.
yeah, and it looks really nice. And like via like figuring out the correct amount of like movement, like it was really hard for me when I started to like from like graphic design. I started graphic design and I was like into illustrations and still images and stuff like that more in the first, like, but I really would like wanted to create animations, but it was like a bit foreign for me to actually get that. So and I'm coloring that, so we are getting a like a this alpha image with some little lines in there, and with a lookup chop once again we are changing the whole deal in a really exciting way. So yes, that was the first one. And the second one was I think this instancing setup I have here was sort of based on supermarket salad stuff, but I'm not really sure. So I want to give credit to him, but I don't know. Like I am not entirely sure. Maybe it was Panic. I don't know which one of those. There is a lot of good people out there. So yeah, and like this is like an instancing setup which creates this little, I think it's a circle. I don't even know whether it's a circle. No, it's a like I'm getting a little UV map. Then I use lens distort. Yes, lens distort makes it so it's like sort of we should see it in the so with lens distort we can sort of play with it, but I really should check rather what I added in here and like so that what was the original intention of mine, so I can like reset that. So what this does is basically an instancing setup, which I have a feedback loop in here with the live component. It should be a supermarket salad because it has the live component in it, and the live component, and it's over, then annulled, and then added some other noise, and then then like this is definitely supermarket salad type of deal in here. It's like and then I'm coloring it with another noise to get a bit different shapes of here, because this gives the little dotty effect to it, and here we have a random noise, and also we are having a lens distort, and all this together should give us, I think I will just I think it was -1 it was on both. Yes, and I should reset it. And I like this one because it sort of gives this growth effect to it. And when I like later on, I added some blurring to it, and in the after parts here we have another feedback loop, obviously. And it has like a slope, displacement, and so this by itself doesn't give that much. Like those are little things moving, but the whole really flowing part is given by this feedback loop, because this is like displacing it more, and like as we can see, creating these warping effects in there. I don't know. Should I make this as a tutorial type of deal? Because I don't really remember.
It's pretty cool, actually. It's a really nice setup. I like it. It's
and
definitely can go deeper into it. You want to go deeper into it? Go for it. Totally up to you.
I mean, this is exactly supermarket salads tutorial in here.
Gotcha.
This part.
Gotcha.
So I wouldn't really give too much more to it, but like actually this what goes after here. So I think I will just select everything and do this like that. So right now the weight is really low, and so if I start doing stuff like this, you can see that it starts to wash it out more in these directions. So while playing with these parameters we have in here, it can be changed in a lot. And also what I made in here, another lookup obviously for coloring the whole deal, and transforming it to like actually like I think it was it doesn't really do much. So no, it actually does some stuff like that, but like this is this is not really what I wanted to show. Okay, maybe with this one, so like by controlling this and the brightness we can like make some exciting stuff. Okay, that was like 99, like that, and it can but we need to make this so it animates. So when I had um, the MIDI controllers, that way I can like control these stuff and wait for it to do things. So this is what we are making, and that way it is like really exciting and like does some stuff like that. With the slope we can like change its like effects and like how this shapes do like the washing out of those things. I think I will just yeah, like this is sort of what like in here. Yeah, so these are things I made in there. Now I destroyed this one, so I should just go back to, I think it was 2, and this was like 0.999, and this was untouched. So if I, yeah, so this way we can see that it does things like that, and then with the lens distort we could like I could make this like pulse and then like do different behaviors, and it's an interesting thing to see in the dome because we eventually see some other stuff in there. And also I layered it with this other look and this other look, and together it was a really, for some reason it always wants to die there, so I don't really want it to go absolutely like that. So yeah, and it was like a sort of ambient setup, and as you can see with like, okay, I will show this off. So dance toolkit was really useful building, like it's really useful building these stuff, like the whole like architecture of this thing, like to create these custom parameters, because eventually I don't have to open this and like customize parent component and then type stuff and then do stuff like this, but all I need to do is just like drag onto this little diamond and it's immediately in our parent. I mean, I can actually absolutely just click on it and have it there and like rotate it immediately with having I have it there. So it's just really useful, and I made this whole part really fast. So I highly recommend getting his toolkit and like learning to use that, and like it will help you a lot. And yeah, so like, and also use selects, because that way we don't have to like drag and drop kilometers of little wires inside the TouchDesigner. And yeah, so like what I also really like a newer discovery of mine, I will stop this one, is this other thing. I don't think I posted this yet, and also it isn't like too beautiful yet, but what I discovered in this one is to actually having some like this poly spline is a really useful little thing, and can do some interesting stuff, and like this patterning of the sops. So I also recommend like it really is bad, like not too enjoyable to work with sops because it's really like not too intuitive to know what is happening behind them,
Right.
and it always is like but they have such they are so powerful, and like um obviously we don't want to use too much of them because like it runs on
They're
the
expensive.
CPU and like yeah, too expensive and stuff like that, but we still can do some nice stuff with it, like this patterning of this thing. And yeah, so what I did here is just playing with this, like, and voila, it creates these little flowers there. So we can do some interesting shapes with it, and like it's just he's amazing.
Super cool. Love it.
And yeah, so like we can like s- play with the divisions of it, but like be careful because it gets really heavy really fast, so like that. And yeah, so like we can change its CV tension. So also that's something.
Nice.
And yeah, what is exciting in this is also how I achieved this sort of holographic stuff in here. It's actually a PBR material that is like just as easy, like a bit like a like metallic and like rough, and like it like it's just all this gets is a good environment lighting from a colorful noise. And it's really interesting how we can like achieve such effects from like lights and like camera placements and stuff like that. It
Totally.
does not have to be always the object itself. We can actually tweak the the packaging of it, and we can like explore some stuff. Like for example, right now it also has this like UI element on it, which I saw like people using a lot. And it it makes it like sort of more like interesting. Like it makes it so interesting that we can actually see the movement, but see the movement too in some signaling like waveforms and stuff like that. So
Interesting.
yeah, so all these things do is just controlling these stuff. And yeah, then I have like what I like this little open color IO is also like info, like good stuff to dive in, because we need to eventually our outputs, we need to change it to a sRGB texture or something to make sure that it's correct, like it is what we will see once we upload it anywhere. So
Right. Gives it
this
more
can, yes, because
realistic
like by
or
default,
accurate.
yeah, accurate look, because by default it's a linear color space, and I don't think we speak enough about color spaces and stuff like that. So um, yeah, it's a good thing to note. And yeah, with that, I think, yeah, what do we have in here? It's oh, this one was okay. I first will stop this one so I don't explode here. So this was a really exciting little experiment of mine, because I was like thinking about how can we tweak the texture, how what shapes do we like, what if I add a like what's this called, the yeah, diffusion
Reaction
type
diffusion.
of reaction diffusion type of stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
try to get that back. And eventually I discovered some, like, this made me realize this was one of those
Aha
big
moments.
explore yes aha moments where I really discovered that, like, how release instancing works, because I
Mm-hmm.
tried out different um, patterns and like shapes, and watched how it changes the whole look. And
Mm.
it gave me an idea about what can be done in here. And um, yeah, it's
Cool.
it's going to be something later on, but yeah, it's an
Super
interesting
cool.
little thing. Also, like how it like
Oh wow.
moves is really
Beautiful. And it's just instances.
interesting. Yes, yes,
Amazing.
yeah, and it's just like tweaking, like making sure that we have like a like it doesn't really matter this shape, but always the coloring, and like how we get those instances to be colored the way we want them to place is a like a really mind bending little thing.
Mm-hmm.
And also I discovered with this that eventually it's uh, like this first instance will be the first like little pixel, and so on. So we will
Right.
go through all the pixels, and it
Right.
will draw our things in accordance to its color, not its position
Uh huh.
inside here. So that's really um, a big discovery for me. Like, I mean, it was like I already knew this, but I was like really interested what happens if I really test this and like try out to add some shapes. And like if we change the circle like softness here, we can
Oh,
like
cool.
do
Damn, that's
some
cool.
stuff with it.
Super
Yeah,
cool.
so it's and
Nice.
and like little experiments that I like go a little bit uh, further with some ideas that makes me to like realize some stuff and like do more interesting visuals that I haven't
Mm-hmm.
seen before or something. And yeah, I think it's important to experiment. It's all about experimenting, I would say,
For
because
sure.
at least until you don't know what you're doing exactly, it's the way to go. And yeah, thanks to this I learned a lot, and I shared a lot of my knowledge that I learned with who I wanted to know how I did. So anybody who wants to know some stuff, I'm really happy to share how I'm doing stuff. So
Oh, nice.
I'm so if anything I can like show you my network or something. Like I am really open with this. I
Reach out
think
to
it's
Reka
great.
on Instagram. Follow her. Link down
Definitely.
below.
Thank you. And yeah, so like chops are also really great. And I don't know if many people know, but like it was a little discovery for me that with the lookup top we can actually use chop values in here. And like right now I will
I don't
just
think I knew that
like,
actually. That's cool.
sorry.
I
Yeah,
didn't
yeah,
think I knew
yeah.
that.
So that's yeah. Okay, so
Nice.
we can add like a pattern chop,
Mm-hmm.
and like let's, I don't know, get this noise in there. And like with this pattern chop we will like make some
Mm,
things with it. Right now it's a like a sine wave. Like, let's have a ramp which should give the same thing. But for example, like
right.
a sine wave or something like this, if we like change its phases and things like that, we can like, it
Cool.
would be more interesting if we actually use this with our instancing as position. So I will add it there. So right now, voila, it creates stuff like this. So if I change the pattern chops, like amplitude and like
wow.
right now phasing, we can
Super
create this
cool.
stuff. But right now I have a camera setup which like rotates
It's
around. So
rotating.
yeah, like let's not rotate. And also let's like have a centered look, like my null is looking at something else, so let's like not look at the null but on our little thing. Oops. And yeah, I will just try to center it right now real fast, but it's not the right way to do stuff, so definitely don't do that. And yeah, so like while changing this to some like random, I mean, not every time it makes sense, but it can do some interesting, can have some interesting results. Maybe that's what you're looking for, and like
Mm-hmm.
have some techno stuff like this.
Super cool.
Yeah, so and also like try out everything, like it's powerful there. So it's also right now it applies it to this one, but what happens if I apply this to a simple UV map that I have nowhere? So I will I mean here let's use it for a UV map, and voila, it, as you might
Yeah, it's almost
see,
like
yeah,
tiling it in a pattern.
yeah, and
Wow.
it's great.
Super cool.
Yeah, it's a really exciting little thing that we can do. But our camera is, let's have like an orthographic from bottom to left. Okay, that is not liking it too much
You're
because I
losing
think
the
we
light.
are, yeah, losing the light. So like let's go back to perspective. Oh, okay,
There you go.
perfect. So I think I will just paint my layout and like have here the top viewer and this one, and this way we can see what we are doing. It's more easy. And yeah, so we can like mess around with it, like have a sine wave. Okay, so like right now it creates this one, but what if we had a like a noise or
A
something
noise.
with
Yeah, I
it?
was gonna say.
So yeah, so like let's change to
I just
this
love
noise.
the fact that you can hook up a chop to this lookup instead of a top, because it just gives you a different way to visualize it, right? A different way to
Yes.
understand it, and a different way to like kind of parametrically alter it, which is very
Mhm.
very cool.
Yes, for example, if I have look like this, uh, I mean, if we don't use this for instancing, but for example, it immediately creates stuff like this. So it's like really exciting. Even, yeah, so
Super cool.
it's just a simple little thing. So yeah, with that, I would, I think, yeah, and yeah, this is the upcoming little pixel art maker. I will post possibly this week or like next week possibly, because it's yeah. So it will be posted really soon. I already like made the tutorial for it. So this little pixel art maker is
Nice.
just a another tool, like just like my portal maker. It is having like, what we can do with this is create still images of like pixelated images, but
Mm-hmm.
I will discover, like I will test this for some instancing stuff, because maybe my theory is that I could like sort of instancing information, so like have the same thing over and over again, like
Mm-hmm.
several times in the same setup. And what this can do, you can discover in my upcoming little video. But I think it's a powerful tool for those who so like have it, like for example banana, and voila, it
Nice.
immediately has it. And also this is a little cute smiley. And we can
Nice.
change the background real
Love it.
quick, and we have all these tools in here. We can
Pixel art.
change what
Super cool.
yes, and only backside of this is that it's not, it's rather a generator. It's a pixel art generator rather than
Right.
a
Post-process
filter.
effect or something. Yeah,
Yeah,
filter,
yeah, it's not a process effect. Therefore, if I add in a like a movie or anything, it will only take the current frame and not actually move it at all. So it this is the discovery thanks to like when I was looking into tune effects inside TouchDesigner. I found Polyhop's little video on it, and he mentioned the convolution, like pixel convolution, like the convolution top.
Convolution.
Convolution, yes. And I dived a little bit deeper to it, and like basically it uses that. So it's thanks to him too. So it's like shout out to him too. Yeah, so like it also can like translate stuff in here. Okay, I moved it too much. Yeah, so like that. But as you can see, we need to update the little thing. So we need to pulse it, and that way it will move it. So we could make a
little animation,
thing.
stop motion animation.
Yes. But we need to like get this out of there.
It's also paused,
like,
yeah.
It's also paused.
Project.
So like, and what I added here is just we can create transparent background with a click here. So
that's, cool.
I think really
that's
cool
awesome.
thing. And if we rotate this, as you can see, the inside pattern isn't updated. So if we need to update it with these spools always. So if we change anything, we need to update it, but it has this sort
edges.
of edges still. And it puts out a 1080 by 1080 picture still. Okay, so let's have an all in here first. Yeah, Alt N, by the way, if you want to have it faster. So it's 1080 by 1080, but the pixel grid is 50 by 50. So we can change what the resolution of our pixel grid should be. Let's try. Yeah, the pixel density should be in there. So like right now it's a bit less, but we can update it still, and like it's still sort of the same image, but like really hard to starting to be. I found the 50 by 50 is the best, or 40 by 40. Let's see. So it depends on also the input image. So
for sure,
so if we have this little butterfly in there, so it will be like a butterfly like I had in there. Also, it depends on the timeline actually, because if we stop it and update it and hold our little key thing, it gives us the original image, like this image's colors more, so we can like lock it in and like have it like that. And as you can see, it changes a bit.
Interesting.
And what is also behind this is like a really exciting like little like how this whole effect works. It reveals it if I turn this off. So this is what it generates behind it. If I start. Okay, so it's basically having a noise with diffusion and the pixel convolution type of deal inside, and it's almost like hidden there at this point. But if I have like 50 by 50, it's a bit better. So yeah, we can change it. So like this pattern, maybe we like that pattern and we want to use that. Also like this. Oops. Yes, we jumped inside. So maybe if we like that, update it, and like we want this type of shape. So maybe we like this type. So this is like, this would be really, back when I started to create anything, it was like with textiles and like like bracelets, and I needed some pixel mapping for like embroidery or
Mm-hmm.
something like that. And this sort of uh, it reminds me, I was reminded of that times, and it inspired me to create this little tool, because I just like put there anything and like have the image pixelated, a little flowers of ours, or actually, or little, I love touch designer thing.
I
I
love it.
think it's really great with the types, I think, to create this pixelated typography type of deal.
Mm-hmm.
It's really exciting. So I'm really happy to release this really soon.
Thank you. That was a really awesome walkthrough and overview of your work, and really nice, like a deep dive. Thank you for going to so many different things. It's really nice to see your process and kind of get to see how you're doing things. And yeah, I'm excited for that tutorial release. It looks awesome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. It's always so interesting to see how people approach art in general, but touch designer specifically, because it's something that the language that I speak as well. So it's really cool to see that. Yeah, speaking of kind of lots of different things in one, you mentioned in one of your explanations for one of your installations, you talked about the butterfly effect and kind of like, the nature of something affecting something and all this kind of thing. As we get into our more esoteric kind of deep dive, what do you think about this idea of order within chaos, or kind of like something can affect something quantumly, or even not quantumly, but just the if you're looking at your trajectory and your story that we spoke about before, one thing changes the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. It could be something so small and it creates such a effect.
Well,
Yeah.
my whole life is full of these things, actually. The fact that I went to like art school was one case of this. It was like a really interesting story that I was doing really bad in the secondary school. I said that I was really bad at math and stuff like that. And one day I went to to that same school still, and on the train ride I was thinking about, like, as if I heard that there is some art school nearby, like not in a city but like in a it's called Kolarovo, and there was like there is something with graphic design or something. So like I should make maybe check that out, whether I could like change schools and stuff like that. And
Oh, wow.
same day I didn't mention this to anybody. I just was like going on with my day. And when I came back home, my parents came for me for the train station and actually said to me that they found for me a school where I can actually like transition to go like to that school actually. So it's like
Oh my god.
somehow I like teleported my thoughts to my mother, or she like somehow got the same
That's
idea,
amazing.
and it's really amazing. So
That's
I'm really
awesome.
thankful for my parents too, because they are awesome and like supporting me in this very well. And also like the second time it was like this, like the what I said, the rave party, that it was like I was invited the last minute, and I like went there and met touch designer the first time ever. Like I haven't heard of it ever. And next day I was on to William's tutorials, and here I am 2 years after. So it's like
So
really really
interesting.
really awesome. And you never know, like you really need to be open and like really listen to anybody who reaches out to you and everything. And like maybe you get to experience such things as I did. So like it's really, you never know who will help or what you will experience that day. You may never know. So it's always and it is always good in the end. I went through some really dark times, and uh, it only either you learn from it or you like don't survive or something, but like you don't get to live to talk about it. But most of the time you just it's either a lesson or a really good experience. So I highly recommend to see and like life, like use this perspective, and yeah, like just try to see the good in things, because there is good in things, hopefully. So maybe, and yeah, I'm mostly an idealist. Like I really can be a really dreamy person and really naive and stuff like that, and like most of the time I feel its effect, and like like people like sort of misuse my trust or something. But yeah, so it's life. It happens.
For sure. Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting that you're viewing it like this. Like you're candidly kind of expressing that some certain things can trigger or push you in a certain direction, even if they're negative, or even if they're negative or bad in a certain way. They can still create good and still create a path of the right path, let's say. And speaking about this, I want to open it up to you, because you did mention before about this experience that you've gone through, and as a man, whenever I have a woman on the podcast, I really like to get their perspective of what it's like to be a woman in this world in general, but also in the media world and touch designer world. And please share with us a little bit about that. And feel free, if you want to take it to the struggles or the positive, or share with us whatever it is. Everything's open, everything's cool, and dark. As I mentioned to you when we were talking about this outside the podcast,
Yes.
The light and the darkness are intertwined, right? And you can't have light without darkness, and our negative experiences, as you said so eloquently, our negative experiences, our dark experiences shape us and create for us the light. So they're just as valid and just as important. So yeah, please take the floor and share with us this perspective.
Well, what I did, like I personally don't like in this field. I have like really good, like I didn't have any issues from being a woman or anything. But like beforehand, when I was into music more, I like tried to have a metal band of some sort, and then I like experienced, like I faced the fact that I like organized people together, and like got the the space where we could like try out our tracks, and like just start a metal band like as a teenage even. And like I was like 18 years old or something. And the guys eventually like told me that they don't really want to like be in a group with me, because eventually somebody will fall in love or something, and like it
Oh, no.
like it does some issues, and like they didn't even like consider me as like because of this in those fields. So that sort of pushed me to the direction to be like hyper independent and like try to be like a one man person, like
Show.
like
Yeah.
everything
A
person.
one woman show.
Yes. And but I like in this field, like visuals and like light guys or everything, everybody is like the best people ever. So I really I didn't have any issues with anybody like this. Nobody really had anything. So I'm really open to do some group projects and like collaborations and everything. So it's really nice. Like I don't really have issues like this. I heard of like some VJ girls who had some issues. uh, I don't know. Like I am lucky, as I said several times, that I so far I had a really smooth ride, and in this field at least. So it was like not really like a hard time from
Issue.
this perspective. Yeah, I had some other like dark stuff that more influenced me, like illnesses in the family, and like some like personal relationships that went really badly and stuff like that. So that is also that also marked me for a long time, that I really didn't show my face or anything. And yeah, so it was a thing to heal from and like go through. But I think like by getting into TouchDesigner and this stuff, it's really opened me up again, and like made me like excited of living a bit more, because I was really dark and depressed all the time beforehand. So it really changed my life in many ways. So yeah, I'm really thankful for everybody who developed this software and like inspired me to pursue it.
Wow. Well, that's beautiful. Thank you for sharing and being vulnerable. It's always difficult, but yeah, you strike me as such a happy and positive person. It's always so interesting, and kind of like it's really beautiful in a way, because it's like so human, that like people have pasts, people have experiences, people have gone through traumatic experiences or dark times, and even so, and maybe even because of those things, they come out as these beautiful, happy people. And you should feel good about that. I'm sure, you don't need me to say it, but you should feel good about that. And it's also awesome that, you mentioned it actually, like the addiction to 3D softwares, but it's the same addiction to, TouchDesigner, or like, just in general, like creating art. It's such a healthy addiction. Like maybe addiction's not the right word, but it's an obsession, it's a healthy obsession. And I'm trying to not be like the boring adult or whatever, but like, it's a super healthy obsession, yet there is moments in life where the boundary can get blurred. I had this great talk, this just reminded me, with Tiago. I forgot his last name, but Tiago, check out the talk we had. It was like maybe 10 episodes ago. Super awesome dude. Tiago Jacko, I think his last name is. But anyway, regardless, the conversation was so awesome. And he mentioned in the conversation that he had also a really dark time where he was like not sleeping, and he was just all day on the computer, all day doing 3D, all day rendering. And he got sick. He had this like breakdown almost, where he couldn't function. He couldn't, forget his personal life. It was already past his personal life. It was affecting his health. And it was such a great insight, because he went through it and he came out the other side like a better and powerful person. But now he, and it just kind of made me think like, yes, obsession, like you can be obsessed with drugs. You could be obsessed with sex or whatever, negative things. Those are like obviously going to lead to like a bad place, right? Being obsessed with art could also lead to a bad place, because it's not necessarily it's not necessarily the act or the substance that you're obsessed with. It's the obsession.
Yes,
like where is
yes.
the boundary of the obsession? Where does the obsession become negative or impact your life in a negative way? And I think it's subjective, right? Like everybody's going to have their own journey with this and find that thing and create those boundaries for themselves. And it seems to me like you're finding it. You're on that path of it. And it's great to see. It's really exciting to see and quite inspiring to see as well.
Yes, I also had like this sort of dark times because I got like basically it was thankfully that I had like an 8-hour job next to the university and an obsession with TouchDesigner. So that led me to like almost every day going like having just 3 hours or 5 hours of sleep at most for almost a year. Like the year before I graduated, like the semester before was like really hard because like physically, because eventually I found out that okay, I stopped respecting my body's needs as much, and like forgot to eat, sleep and everything. But um it didn't go too far because I like because of what I mentioned before, like when the illnesses in the family were, and like I also like sort of met death in a really young age, and that made me like some sort of like more spiritually inclined.
Nice.
I had this like I started to really like read these old books and these old like spiritual texts, and like also there is what you mentioned, that this obsession like with good things is also not good. So you need to have some sort of balance. Like you
Yeah.
don't if everything was like too good, it would be too good to be true. So um yeah, it always has a sort of that like it has to be a bit negative, or like at least like when you are like exercising, like I don't know, doing yoga or something, it also can be addictive, or like really like you can overdo stuff like that too. So it's
Totally.
really important not to find the balance in these things. And art is also like art is in difficult in many ways, because like many times like sculptors and I don't know, like dancers, it can be physical, and but it always is like sort of spiritual or like soulful, and you leave a piece of yourself in every piece of what you create. And like I think it's not just like in the art pieces, but in everything you do. Like it's the butterfly effect. Like every single little act of ours can have like a ripple effect and do like have a big impact somewhere. So it's really hard to like at the same time being aware of these things, like, and experience these things, like everything is interconnected. And like it has a like it's like sort of heavy, but sort of even like makes it so light. So it's thank God that it's like that way. That thank God that we are like sort of one little like on this planet, and like the whole thing is just working. And like it couldn't, like if I don't know, like if somebody didn't invent the wheel or something, we wouldn't be here possibly. And possibly that was also just an incident or something. So
Yeah,
it's really
or an obsession, right? Maybe that
yes,
the
yes,
person that invented it was obsessed. Wow,
yes. So
very
it's
very potent thoughts. And um, what was the spiritual? I'm a spiritual as well, and I love getting into those conversations. What was the books that you were reading, or what were you engrossing yourself in? I'd love to talk about that.
it's actually the Bhagavad Gita. I
Oh,
love to
that's a good one.
read a
That's a
lot.
great book.
But yes, it's a really great book. I always just sometimes I just binge open it and just read a verse from it, and it's always insightful and like really grounding. I would
Beautiful.
say that it's really good. And the other one was also about it is from Bhakti Ervin, and it's like a Hungarian Indo Hungarian men who went to India and like wrote about their culture. It's a really great book, and like like that was the first one I read, and after I got a Bhagavad Gita because I got really hooked into these things, and also like I'm like the Holy Bible also was like really insightful several times. Yeah, so
Did you
it's
grow up
it's
with religion or with spirituality in your family?
yes, like my grandmother was like into like a Christian. I'm also Christian, but like officially, but I'm not really. I'm
Practicing.
no longer like practicing it as much. Like we have like the same like rituals and everything. We have like, everything, but since I'm like more into spirituality, I don't think it's like yeah, it has some, it had some limitations which I couldn't really exist anymore. And like we like sort of left that really strict like religious practice of going to everything, like doing everything like that. But um yeah, so it is always like every single religion has uh some sort of I strongly believe that every single religion has some strong connection, like somewhere there is a truth behind every single one. And I don't think we should think of like have like religions rather than beliefs. And I like, because religions create division whilst
Yeah.
like beliefs can be like more connecting. And like and also what like another like this spiritual sort of thing is like I really like the band Tool. And
Yeah. Of course.
I heard I was listening
Nice.
to one TED talk of their cover artist Alex Gray,
Yeah.
and he talked about some similar things I experienced too when I was younger, and like my grandmother died, and like people died, and like it was like real dark times, and like people
So
were
sorry.
ill, and like it was like thank you, it was like I realized that I'm like in a human, like a body, and I'm like sort of a soul in this body, and I want, like I needed to find out how to operate this reality of this. And like I sort of started to act from my soul, and like I started to like leave behind my body, and that like was that like it's outcome was that I didn't sleep enough, didn't eat properly or anything. I just wanted to like do my soul's purpose, so called. But I realized that it's also purposeful that I was born into this body, and like into this place,
Beautiful.
and like with these
Beautiful.
people. And it's always important. And back to Alex Gray, he talked about some like a source type of deal, that there is like when we create some things, we get to this flow state. And sometimes in this flow state I don't even know about myself or anything, like I'm not using any substances, but like sometimes it is so like as if I'm channeling something. And like it's I think has to be something that drives us in those flow states, because or something higher interconnecting something that we are part of, that is sort of like reflecting itself in this reality or
Yeah.
something. I don't know.
Wow.
It's
No. You're speaking the truth. I just want to say one thing. I want to say a lot of things, but one thing that you said, that you're, that you are in this body, and and that's your soul's in this body. I believe, and I'm sure you probably think about it similarly if you're reading Bhagavad Gita and in Hinduism, but we chose this body, in the soul realm or whatever you want to call it, and some different dimension or some different reality. You chose to come to this body, you chose the family, you chose your parents, you chose all those things, and your whole journey with what you have gone through, the darkness, the light, all that kind of stuff was a choice. Yeah, it wasn't by chance or just because, oh, that body's available, I'm going to go there. It was a extremely higher power understanding choice. Yeah. And I think that what you said is so potent, of like, when you went through these dark times, the way that you wanted to focus on them was to focus on your soul growth, right? On like, okay, what is the point of me being here? Like, okay, my higher power focus is here, and there's a reason for it, and I need to focus on it. And I think that's like a really, really awesome way to operate in the world. But the realization that you had of like, okay, my soul is here inside of a body, therefore the body is just as important as the soul growth, right? Like my respect of the body, my connection to the body, my creating these boundaries between these different aspects is just as important as the soul growth, right? Like maybe in a bigger picture, like, there's the source, like you said. That's like the physical 3D reality exists inside of that, right? Like the nature and biology and all these things exist inside of those higher dimensions. Like they're like a lower dimension, but they exist inside of it. So they're just as important and just as potent. So yeah, I mean, like totally with you on this. And I think that just to tie it together to what you were saying about the flow states. I often feel like that the flow state is like this kind of spiritual higher dimension feeling, right? Where it's like you're kind of like not a zombie, but you're kind of like in a trance. You're entranced by this thing. You're clicking and you're doing all this stuff, and it's like not really me. It's me, but it's not me. And then you think about, okay, well, if I'm in this higher dimension in a flow state, then what is this higher dimension? Then what is this higher dimension if not the source, right? And like the source, God, universe, whatever you want to call it, reality, nature, speaking through me, through my soul, through my through my connection to that higher power. And then you kind of think about like, okay, well then isn't that like my purpose in this world of like creating art and expressing art and teaching art and being in these flow states so that I can bring down these higher dimensional things into the 3D world. And that gives us purpose. It gives us meaning. It gives us like a reason, right? And it doesn't have to be like understood. I don't have to understand it or know it's real or have proof of it. It just is kind of a feeling. Like, and to dumb it down even further, if you're not spiritual, like, what is being a good person, right? Like, what does that mean to be a good person? Like, what is the function of being a good person, right? Am I being good for myself? Am I being good for the others?
Yes, maybe I'm good to somebody, like help somebody who would like really do some really bad things to somebody else. So is that really good? So that's so many like these philosophical questions in this that it's really deep, and it's an endless rabbit hole to go through.
Totally.
It's always I say it's rather a channeling type of deal, like as like there are some like witches and I don't know who, like people who like rather practice these things like I would say they are like posers or something, like I really do some stuff like not entirely, I cannot really believe them or accept them as such, but they call these things like channeling of some higher
of
thing,
aliens or whatever, angels or
but like I would rather say that it's like it's a sort of channeling when we are in a flow state, and we are like sort of channeling the universe's like
Mm.
reflection of
Mm.
itself or something like that. Like
I think the
it's
biggest
sort
difference
of,
is that you're not posing yourself as, oh, like I'm an artist and therefore I'm a channeler, or you're not even like, we're not even putting an emphasis on like the action, right? It's more of like
yeah,
a very subtle experience that is part of what we're doing, right? So it's like,
yes,
yeah, they're kind of the same in a sense, right? Like a person who's
yes,
channeling an entity or whatever is similar to like being in a flow state and creating art. I think the big
yeah,
difference is, and again, no, I don't want to judge some people that channel. I think that there's value to it for some people,
mhm,
and obviously
yes,
there's charlatans in art as well, right?
yes, yes,
But
yes, yes,
like they're the same in that sense. It's just the action that we're creating is an expression through,
yes,
like, it's like a filter, right? Like a
yes,
reflection. You actually said it so beautifully. It's a reflection, and a reflection can be filtered, right? You can have a mirror reflection. You can have a reflection through some sort of refraction, right? You can have
yes,
a reflection through, through the water, or even like a conceptual reflection, right? Like an inner reflection, right? Like meditation or Buddhist practices, or even a reflection through ceremony, through prayer, through singing, through plants, medicines, all these kind of things. If what is it if not a reflection of the substance, the substrate, yeah, like it can even go down to like your
yeah,
eyes, right? Like what are we
yes,
seeing? I see something different
yes,
than you, but we're looking at each other. Like, and
yes,
then each person's going to have that filter, but like their substance is there, right? Like I'm still here, you're still there, even though we see each other differently. So yeah, I mean, it's, oh, I feel good. I like this discussion. I like where it's taking us.
yes,
Yeah, for me, like, just to go even back outside of this explosion of ideas, and maybe ground it a little bit. I think what you said about religion and like the difference between religion and belief is such a powerful thing. And I think that most of us, not most of us, but a lot of us don't realize that they are two separate things. I grew up in an Orthodox home, a Jewish Orthodox home, and for me, many, many, many years, when I left the religion, I was not spiritual. I was like anti, because I didn't understand that being having a belief system, having some sort of connection to something, is beneficial. Not only is it beneficial, I would argue that it's inherent in our beings. Even people that are atheists, even people that are believe in like some simulation theory or something like that, that's a belief. You know what I mean? Like
yes,
that's a
yeah.
system that they're doing. They can't prove it, they can't quantify it, but they can explain it and they can have an idea of it. And separating
Religion
like
is just
no,
religion is
please.
just forcing those beliefs to
Yes,
into some
structure,
like structure
dogma,
and like dog.
like
Yes, yes, yes.
rules, and it's
Rules,
hijacked. It's
exactly.
hijacked. It's
Yes,
hijacking it, and it's so
yes,
important for us as humans to like recognize
yeah,
that
yes,
and again, no judgment to people that are religious. You can be a very good person to be religious. I know many,
yes, definitely.
but then obviously religion is also the cause of a lot of wars and a lot of negative things
Yes,
in
yes,
reality. So
yes.
finding
If they
that,
misuse it,
if they
misuse
misuse
it.
it, right, which
Yeah,
is, I mean, I would argue that it was created for that. It was created for
yeah,
control and manipulation.
yeah, definitely. It can be. I don't know. Like it was sort of both. It was they wanted to like sort of uh, make people see this science of spiritual. I don't know. Like it's hard to say or like talk about this, but like it's. I think they wanted to enlighten others to these wonders of the world and
Mm.
everything, but like some people saw that this can be used for bad purposes and then like created stuff like that. But it's hard to say. It's just really sad that we are even judging each other because of this like sort of unnecessary thing that like we should just really respect each other's beliefs and like
Yeah.
not really like go into like saying what the other should believe or something. Like
Totally.
everybody should believe what they want. I highly
Exactly. And
believe that.
it's so subjective. I think a big sorry to keep on hijacking the conversation, but a big part of my journey was realizing that I connect to a plant medicine ceremony, an indigenous idea, or Buddhism, Christianity, like there's so many things inside of these things that I connect to. And then I'm like, wait a second, if I, as a Jewish person, connect to these ideas, then maybe there's some value in it. And if there's value in it, then who can tell me that this way is right and this way is wrong? And then it kind of like opened up this avenue of like, there's no right or wrong way to practice spirituality and to connect to the source. It's subjective. And the beauty of that is like, the more you engross yourself with other religions, other ideas of spirituality, other sects of a connection to the source, you're enriching yourself and you're finding your personal soul path, right? Like you're reconnecting, like, okay, ancestry and your DNA is very important in this aspect, right? Because if we said that your soul chose this body, then my soul chose to be in this Jewish family and have this connection to this Jewish ancestry. But does that mean that it's only that? No, because I connect to this Buddhist idea. I connect to this song from, an indigenous people. I connect to this plant medicine. So if I connect to it and my soul connects to it, then there's something deeper than just my physical DNA and just my ancestry. And it's like that path is so powerful, and it helps us not only become better people, but if we're in a visual arts podcast, it helps us become better artists, right?
Yes, definitely. And like we should number one like a lesson of this all is just like respect everybody. Like even if we like might think that we are better than others or something, we still need to respect the beginners because they have the beginner's eyes and the beginner's mind, and they can have some perspectives that we didn't think of, and it's like definitely a good lesson to learn. And like respect towards everybody, like because everybody is a living, feeling being, and like we are just not just numbers as nowadays it is like really common. Just okay, died, I don't know, like 500 people died there, and like I don't know, it no longer like media no longer like sort of wears out this fact that those are human beings, and just like we are just like numbers at that point, and that can lead to real tragic things. And I think like as humans we should like consider each other whenever we are like it's really important to know that there is a lot of us, and like we can like have some like connection even if we don't really have too much in common or something. But
Totally.
like
and we do have things in common, right? We all
yes,
have
definitely.
things in common.
Like it's not personally, just like if anybody like came up, like I don't know, like I don't know, even like definitely we can learn from each other's life experiences, and it would be really nice if we could just have like conversations with everybody, but like we really cannot do that. Like it would be really impossible, but it could be a really good thing. That was sort of not where I wanted to put this.
You hit the nail on the head. Respect and appreciation and understanding, empathy,
Yes.
right? It's all empathy.
Yes.
Like just have empathy for everybody and don't
Yes.
judge people. I think that's probably the best lesson we can get from all of this. Okay, shifting but connected still.
Okay.
And we're getting to the end here. I just have two topics that I want to talk to you about. This one actually is a little bit more connected, but you mentioned curiosity, and I think that curiosity and experimentation is so powerful inside of what we do. Where do you think it comes from? You know, and we can stay in the spiritual aspect. I'm totally happy with that. But just curiosity, where do you think it comes from? What do you think the function of it is, and how does it meet you as an artist?
Well, I never really thought about where curiosity could come from, because I think that's that's my, like, as a child, like as we are human children, or something, like we have it this ingrained to us as people. But I also, like, through my dog, I also see her being really interested in stuff. So
That's
I don't
awesome.
think it's exactly like a human thing. I think it's rather, I believe that even like plants, or like some microorganisms could also like have some like sense, at least, of what this whole deal is, and they are like going out exploring stuff. It is the same way, like, um it's an ingrained, like, what's that called, a um
Inherent.
inherent, or rather like a um like a like an automatic, like a programmed
Yeah,
thing in every
like a
living being.
natural, like a
Even,
DNA kind of like inside of the
yes, yes,
programming.
yes.
Yeah.
Like even plants are sort of curious, if we think about it,
For
because they are
sure.
looking for the light to, like, in some sense we could call that also curiosity. And like, yeah, like they had this discovery that even like there are forests who are like which who like which are like having these this mushroom type of deal underneath them, and through that they are
Mycelium.
interconnected, and mycelia, yes. And they are like really, like, they're like everything is like, we should not really just stick to like human curiosity, because it's everywhere. I think it's ingrained in life itself. Like it's the like like a sense of life, if there is like curiosity. Because, yeah, like I cannot think of a living being not being curious at the moment, like, in a way that, like, they are seeking some stuff. Like everything is seeking at least food, but can they, like, just, there are, like, in the zoo, if we go to the zoo, there are animals just like playing with, I don't know, rocks or sticks or something. They are also like curious how that thing will move, I guess. So, like, it's rather ingrained in life itself, I would say. But I don't know, like, it's a childlike, I think we are rather born with it. Like it's like a, as we said, that it's a like a like an ingrained stuff, and like we are like born with it as a childlike curiosity. And we can go back to it anytime we want to, because eventually all adults are still just big kids, I would say. Because, like, we we are just kids with experience, and we, like, most of us just like also gather ego and stuff like that. But I think it's such a shame that most of us, like, we are like sort of taught that to like rather like push away everything that is this really childlike curiosity in us.
Right, like be an
And
adult, be older, be more
yeah, like,
mature.
don't ask the wrong questions, and like
Oh yeah,
be always on
sure.
your tippy toes, and fear, and like obey and everything. Like, it's not, it's really it's a really lame dystopia we are living in, I would say. Because it's like, at the same time really awesome, and really, really lame. Just, I wouldn't say bad. It's rather lame, because it's just grotesque how like on the one side of the world people are dying, and the other side, I don't know, they are like discovering stuff and like making awesome installations and whatever. So it's just really really weird
It is
times we
weird.
are living in.
It's
Yeah.
a
And
you know, I think. Oh, please finish your thought.
yeah, so it's yeah, I think I I lost my train of thought there, so
Oh, sorry. I cut you
no
off.
worries.
Yeah, I think I don't know if it's necessarily just now. I think it's kind of probably always been like that. You know, maybe in different ways, like, you know, from the advent of civilization and from the advent of like prosperity and abundance, which is like pretty new to like the human experience probably, or at least, you know, hunter gatherers probably had abundance, but it was like a very different way of thinking about it,
Yes.
right? Because they still had to
Yes.
run away from tigers and still had to like deal with the weather, but they
Yeah,
probably were in
illnesses
some
and
way
everything.
happier in some way, but it's like a different
Who knows?
happier. Who knows, right? Who knows? But I think that that dichotomy of like, you know, light and darkness, of like, you know, I mean, just look at indigenous civilizations. Most of them didn't exist for very long, right? They kind of happened for like a few hundred years, 100 years, 200 years. When I went to Mexico, there was a natural museum in Mexico, and it's like, you know, you go to this museum and it like has all these crazy cultures, and it's like literally thousands of different indigenous cultures. Each one is different, you know, and it's like
Yes.
they're just
Yeah.
forgotten. They're just forgotten, but like, because you had a culture for 100 years and you had a civilization for 100 years, and then it got changed and it got destroyed, and but each one had such uniqueness and such you know, you look at their art and you look at their pottery, each one was different. It's like, okay, this is so fascinating that like this culture existed as like the proto culture, the amazing culture for 100 years. They made art, they made this, and then they went away and like never heard of
Yeah.
again. And I think that's the uniqueness of the time that we're in, where it's like we have this continuous story that we're telling, and hopefully it won't end, right? Hopefully it will continue or evolve
Hopefully.
or change, or hopefully, fingers crossed, pray to God. But it's very special in that sense. And I think that part of the aspect of that dichotomy of like, you know, yeah, people on some of the world are dealing with atrocities and things that we can't even imagine, while we're super lucky and being able to create all these amazing things. I think that they exist in kind of like that, like we were talking about before, the light and the dark, right? That they kind of exist
Definitely.
together. And
Sort of harmony of some sort,
yeah,
because
in
like
some fucked up harmony that we can't
yeah,
understand.
yeah. It's so sad, like yeah, but like it is the same way that like in the Western countries we sort of enjoy our lives and everything on top of the third world countries,
Or
because
even just on
like
top of the people here, like the homeless
yeah,
people or the
yeah,
working
also
class.
yeah, like the manufacturers who are like making children do our stuff, and like it's just terrible that it even can like came up somebody as an idea just to make more money. Like it's so bad, and
Sick,
we
yeah.
cannot really do anything with it because it's so ingrained to the world, and it's like so tragic. But maybe there is like I'm trying to have the hope that there is a solution to this, that every single person can sort of live
Prosperous
a
life.
prosperous and like normal life, that they don't have to be in dirt and like don't know what to eat
Or be
next day and
bombed.
stuff like that. Yes.
Yeah. You know, it's such a big question, and obviously we're not going to solve it here, but I find that the best and most direct way of quote unquote solving the bad and the heart of the world is by creating good around you and by empowering the people around you, whether it's your partner,
Yes.
whether it's your family, whether it's your community, whether it's your neighbors, whether it's the, you know, I live in the mountains, so we don't have many homeless people here, but when you're in the city, smiling to people around you
Yeah.
or helping people around you, that's like, it's direct action. You know, like I I'm often very against activism, even though like I shouldn't be against anything. Like whatever, you want to be an activist, go for it. I just feel like the amount of energy it takes to go and be an activist against something really, 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 really big often doesn't actually make much change. It can, and
Yes.
again, like power to you, but I would feel like if I put all that energy into myself, into the people around me, into my community, that's going to create much more actionary result and hopefully echo out, right? And create some sort of ripple effect that will reach those people that I was protesting for or whatever it is. It's very hippie. It's very, as it's very kind of like unquantifiable, but I feel like a lot of the indigenous teachings, and especially when it comes to like the idea of karma and these kind of ideas and the things that you're interested in, I think that they kind of subtly they subtly teach this, right? Of just like, what is karma if not like just being good? Like nowhere in
Yeah.
that expression does it say go out and be a philanthropist or go out and be an activist.
Yeah.
No, it's like be
Yeah.
good to the people around you, be good to
Yeah.
yourself, be good
Or
to the
be good
earth.
in what you do. Like try to know your craft the best way. Like it's also
Exactly.
part of it. So
Exactly.
maybe that is also that. So
Well, this is
yeah,
a great place to end that. And sorry, what
yeah.
were you going to say? Please.
Not much. I don't think. I don't know.
No, you've been saying
So we
amazing
can.
things.
Yeah. So yeah. So like we like being good in our craft, or like also like helping people. I was actually like trying this like philanthropist lifestyle, so called, or something. So like I tried to help in the local dog shelter, and
Nice.
eventually realized that it's basically they were creating an environment for those dogs that is worse than as if they were just euthanized. Yeah, like
Really?
it's
Wow.
like, so it was like
That's
really
harsh.
tragic to yeah, and harsh to realize this, and that you really want to help so much, but eventually you are like doing sort of worse to
Mm,
those things and beings, and it's just
wow.
like, yeah, so it like eventually yeah, like it's still like I think it's a good thing that we just not like immediately destroy everything, but yeah, so we need to like sort of think of whether that help will really help or not.
Mm,
Like not just like evaluate our actions, I would rather
mm,
say, because okay, help, yeah, like if you can help, like help, like it's good to help, because we eventually don't really know whether it will help or not. But
mm,
um yeah, so it's just so many philosophical like stuff that we could go through still, and it would never end. But yeah, so
mhm,
like it's really the good is to be to try to do your best. I think like
mm,
if you want to be good, just do your best and be your
mm,
best possible self, that and version that you can do.
mm.
And I think that could be a great motivator to anybody, and something good to take it away from this. But yeah, it
For
went a
sure.
bit dark.
Reka, thank you so much for talking with me, being vulnerable, talking about this awesome topic that I love to talk about, and sharing your amazing journey in art. And I feel inspired and full, and I really can't wait to see what's going to come from the mind of Reka. And we're going to have you on in a year and 2 years and see where you're going and see what you're doing.
Thank you.
And I I recommend everybody to go check out Reka's work, follow her on Instagram, check out her Patreon. And yeah, is there anything you want to share with us or say before we go?
Also check out everybody I mentioned in this whole thing, like Ruben and Dan's toolkit is really useful. Like you cannot stress that anyway. Like it saved me time, like hours of work. So that definitely check it out. So I think that's it. Like I don't really want to say too much anymore. Yeah, drink water actually.
Drink water. That's important for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Thanks for
Thank
coming
you. Thank you for having me. Goodbye. Hi.
Wow, what an episode. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you to Mantis Smash for the intro and outro music. Thank you to Sophie Holder for the amazing internship helping us with all the episodes. And thank you to the guests for coming on and spending time with us. See you next week.